What is going on, everyone? It's Conspiracy Corner Podcast. This is Abe, your host. So, I just ate a cheeseburger. If you are watching and or listening on YouTube right now, and I don't care if you click off on this video, it's perfectly acceptable behavior. Late Night with the Devil is on YouTube right now for free. Someone got it off of Shudder and uploaded it onto YouTube. Now, the title is misspelled a little bit, so I think that's why they're getting away with it. And I got to watch the movie last night. This is something I've been wanting to do, is more movie reviews. I was inspired by PSYOP Cinema, and I wanted to start my own podcast segment called Conspiracy Cinema. And I've done a couple movie reviews, so shameless plug, go check out those other movie reviews. I reviewed Stanley Kubrick's the one with Tom Cruise. What the fuck is that one called? It's a conspiracy movie. You all know. It's about sex orgies and shit. I reviewed that movie. I reviewed Cuties on Netflix. And I did a review on... There was one more movie that I did a movie review on. Cuties, Eyes Wide Shut, and... I did a double movie review on The Conjuring 1 and 2. So go check that out. I think that's it. So I watched Late Night with the Devil. Go catch it while you can on YouTube for free. Let's get into it. What did I think of it? First of all, my wife is a good litmus test, because she doesn't like horror movies until she got with me. Now she likes them. I didn't think the movie, and as far as I know, she didn't jump or anything during the movie. So she's actually a decent litmus test, because she's not completely calloused to horror like I am. She didn't jump at all. It's not scary. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't find anything scary in it. So if you're looking for a good horror movie that will scare you, Late Night with the Devil is not gonna do that. Aesthetically, it's very pleasing. It's very 1970s. So as someone who has dabbled with hallucinogens and stuff, aesthetically, artistically, color-wise, it's pleasing to the eye. Especially if you were born and raised in that era, or even if you're just a fan of the 70s in general. Because the way it's filmed, by the way, spoiler alert, I should think that's common sense with late night, or with movie reviews in general, that it's spoilers in general. But so basically the concept of the movie is, it starts off, it reminds me a lot of an Oliver Stone movie. So if you guys like Oliver Stone, I think you would enjoy this film. I'm a huge fucking fan of Natural Born Killers. It's one of my favorite movies. It's one of those movies that I have literally watched. I can't even count how many times I've watched that movie. But it reminds me of an Oliver Stone flick in the style of Natural Born Killers. The whole thing does not feel like a hallucinogenic trip, but from one ex-druggie to someone else who might have walked around the block a couple times. It's a movie I would suggest, as your attorney, I would suggest you get high before you watch this movie. The whole time while I was watching it, I was like, man, I wish I had weed. This movie would be awesome on weed. Now, it's filmed, the style that it's filmed in is basically like late night television from the 70s. So if you're a fan of late night television in general, you'll like this movie. So like the whole time it's like you're watching late night television. It goes to black and white whenever it's breaking, I guess it'd be breaking a fourth wall, maybe not really. They never break the fourth wall, but it goes to black and white in between the filming segments. So the whole movie's like segmented out. The start of the movie definitely gets you in the mood for the movie. It shows basically like film footage, like television footage of basically summing up the 70s as far as like the Satanic Panic. There's a cult leader who is supposed to be Anton LaVey because the guy's name is Zandor, which was Anton LaVey's middle name, Anton Zandor LaVey, which, by the way, Anton LaVey is obviously not his real name. And if you want to know something, this is kind of a neat little fun fact. Anton LaVey, Anton, if you say it fast enough, it's Leviathan, which is a sea serpent. It's a fallen angel. It's a demon in the Bible. Leviathan. Anton LaVey. LaVey Anton. You get it. And he's a leader of this cult that worships Abraxas. I want to do a whole episode on Abraxas because Abraxas was first brought to my attention through Tinfoil Hat with Sam Tripoli. It's a chicken snake god, apparently. And it falls into Gnosticism. Gnosticism, to sum it up, is basically like the God of the Bible, the Old Testament, is evil. And he controls this realm. And the actual creator of all, Hugh, the one I pray to, is the good guy. And it's basically like reverse Christianity. And a lot of people say, well, isn't that just Satanism? And it's like, no, it's not really Satanism. It gets into like Yad-ho-Vewa, which is like the villain. God is evil, basically. There's these beings called archons. And we're stuck in a reincarnation soul trap. And the archons trick you to come to the light by disguising themselves as your dead relatives. And you're actually not supposed to go towards the light. You're supposed to run away from the light. So that way you don't get reincarnated in this reincarnation trap. And there is no heaven and hell. You basically cease to exist. We're in a matrix. The Matrix movie is basically about Gnosticism. Like, we're batteries. The archons feed off of us, and they're kind of like Lovecraftian interdimensional beings that steal our loosh. They get high off of it or something. They just like our energy and shit. Interdimensional Lovecraftian parasitic vampires. Abraxas, though. I want to start studying Abraxas, and I want to do a whole episode on Abraxas. The only thing I know about Abraxas is it's a chicken-headed snake god. Kind of like Quetzalcoatl. I wonder if they're actually related. if they're the same being, the feathery serpent. Which I'm very interested in Quetzalcoatl. Speak of the devil. Abraxas, though, I do know that, like, Charles Manson, actually, this is a synchronicity, so we're not going too far off the beaten path and not derailing this crazy train. Charles Manson actually has mentioned Abraxas, that he grew up. Abraxas, to me, as far as I know, I'm kind of thinking that it's like folk magic, that it's like hillbilly witchcraft. Like some sort of, like, almost like hillbilly cult that was going on back in the day. Because I was saying Charles Manson, he said that his mother taught him about Abraxas and stuff. And another thing a lot of people don't know is the founder of Mormonism, Joseph Smith, his mom was also in the cult of Abraxas. A lot of people don't know that. And apparently it's like folk magic, like hillbilly magic, you know. So I just found that interesting. That's a loophole we could go down as far as like learning more about Abraxas and what it is and stuff. So this is kind of like an Exorcist movie from what I got from watching it. There's a little girl, which, by the way, all the actors, they did a really good job on making them look like that era of the 70s. And even like their bone structure and facial features and stuff, they just looked like they were born in the 70s, you know. The little girl, though, she's possessed by a entity that goes under an alias called Mr. Wriggles, I think it was. But turns out, like, she was born and raised in this cult of Abraxas, and they show, like, film footage that the cult ended up burning themselves alive. So it's kind of referencing Waco, in my opinion. That's what I got out of it. I was like, oh, Waco, gotcha. And she was a survivor, and she ends up getting adopted by this woman who is basically her by-law mother and also her therapist, psychologist, therapist. She's like a medical professional, but she also is into like pseudoscience and shit, as far as paranormal. After the opening title of the film montage, it gets into Bohemian Grove. It never actually says that it's Bohemian Grove, but it's pretty fucking obvious they're talking about Bohemian Grove. Because there's not really a main character. One of the main characters is the TV host, the talk show host. And it pretty much shows that he went to Bohemian Grove and he became famous. And his wife gets cancer. Spoiler alert. I'm just going to sum it up because if you can't figure it out, when you watch it, you'll figure it out in 2 seconds. He goes to Bohemian Grove and he offers his wife up as a sacrifice to have fame and fortune. So it goes into conspiracy right off the bat as far as the whole conspiracy of the elites have to sacrifice a family member, either a loved one like a wife or a brother or a sister or a mom, to become rich and famous. You know, and that's basically what happens. Now, it shows a deal. This is my theory. It shows a deal with this old man, and he signs the host signs a paper, and the old man like pats him on the back and shakes his hand, and he's like, "Good job," and he hands him a silver chalice. I think that that's the devil. That's my opinion. That's my theory. I think that was the actual devil. In physical form. Maybe like Mephistopheles or something. I think that was Mephistopheles. The physical human form of the devil. And he goes to like Bohemian Grove and shit, and basically trades his wife in for fame and fortune. Now there was a lot of little Easter eggs. So like do you guys remember Sixth Sense? First of all, that was an amazing movie. I want to rewatch it and review it on the channel. With Sixth Sense, there's Easter eggs all over the fucking movie. And it was, if you remember, it correlated with the color red. Anytime you'd see red, it was an Easter egg trying to tell you something. This movie, and I tried to keep my eyes open the best I fucking could, I only noticed one Easter egg. The host of the TV show sacrificed his wife, sold his soul. We just went through that. She still haunts him to this day. And she pops up multiple times, and one of them was a reflection in a TV screen or a camera or something like that. I didn't notice. There was another one where it looked like it was a pocket watch that was open, and it was reflecting, and you can clearly see her in the reflection. The only one that I noticed was on the possessed girl. It shows her facing away from the camera at one point, and it shows you a flash of a demon face that's like in a gray apparition form projecting out of her head real quick. That was the only one that I noticed. So keep your eye out as far as like Easter eggs and shit. And this was an Easter egg that I found, that I noticed. And let me know if I'm just looking too deeply into this, but he does an opening monologue like every late night talk show does. And during the opening monologue, his talk show is called Night Owls. So there's the Bohemian Grove connection. And the symbol is a night owl in front of two buildings. During his whole opening monologue to get his talk show episode started, it's a Halloween special. So this is definitely a good movie to watch at Halloween. The emblem of the talk show, the symbol, it's an owl. It's behind his head. And the way he's standing, you keep seeing it looks like he has horns. That was one Easter egg that I noticed. I don't know if they purposely did that. I don't know if it was an accident. I don't know if I'm looking too deeply into it. If you watch the movie and when you watch the movie, let me know in the comments if you guys noticed it. But yeah, he's like, it's showing him with horns basically. Because at this point he had already sold his soul to the devil. The only other Easter egg that I think that I noticed a lot, and I might be looking too deeply into, was it's based in New York, and they show the Twin Towers like over and over and over again. And I think that was to purposely get conspiracy theorists like talking, because it's the whole 9/11 was an inside job, the whole 9/11 conspiracy. So I think they did that for us conspiracy theorists watching, like, Twin Towers, remember this shit, you know. Let's see. So we talked about Abraxas. Oh yeah, they have a character that was like Anton LaVey, which we covered. the leader of the Abraxas cult, Xandor. There's also another character, and I'm pretty sure I got this right. There was a guy, I used to live out in Perryville, Kentucky on Battlefield Road, which is haunted as fuck. And the house I lived in was haunted. I lived there with my brother and sister-in-law for a short period of time. And I remember while I lived there, my brother was telling me that there was this magician back in the day. His name was Randy, the Amazing Randy. And he put out a proposition and a challenge of like, I will give anyone who can prove the existence of the paranormal, actual physical evidence of it, I will give them $500,000. So in this movie, they have a character that is a magician offering $500,000 to whoever can prove the paranormal. He's a professional skeptic. So this movie is slightly inspired by true events and shit. As far as like, those two characters are based off of real people. Anton Szandor LaVey and the Amazing Randy. Which there's a lot of magicians in general who are skeptics of the supernatural and paranormal. Like Harry Houdini was one. He told his wife before he died that he would try to contact her if he ever became a ghost, which I thought was kind of cool. I've always wanted to do that. If I die, which I probably will because of my habits as far as smoking, and I've treated my body like an amusement park since about 16 years old. I've always said if I was going to die before my wife that I would also do the same thing, that I would try to contact her after I died. I think that would be cool. But Harry Houdini was a big skeptic. Who's the other? It's a duo, a tag team. They're magicians, and one of them is super atheist, and he's a huge skeptic, and he's super pro-atheist. He's like a big name in atheism, but he's also a magician. It's a creator of a video game. They created a video game called Desert Bus, I think was the name of the game. And it literally is, you have to sit there and drive a bus into the desert for 8 hours straight. And you can't trick the game. You have to sit there and push. Your bus has a lean to it. So you have to sit there and push the left button ever so often, or you run off the road, and then you total your bus, and you get towed all the way back. I'm pretty sure the game is called Desert Bus, but he was the creator of that. What the fuck is his name? He's got glasses and a ponytail. He's a taller dude, kind of chubby. He's a skeptic, though. But I'm going way off course. Let's see what else we got. Let me pause. Well, let me go into this. My overall rating for the movie, if we're doing a score out of 10, I give it an 8. I was disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. But it wasn't the movie's fault. I guess my disappointment with it was that I listened to a lot of conspiracy podcasts, like Tinfoil Hat. They did an episode talking about it. Everybody was in the conspiracy community, I felt like, was hyping this movie up like, oh my god, you gotta watch it. It's amazing when it comes to conspiracy theories and shit. And it is a conspiracy movie. That's why I'm reviewing it. That's why I'm talking about it. But I felt like everybody hyped it up so much that I was expecting an amazing fucking movie. Like, I was expecting to be like, oh my God, I want to rewatch this. And this was so amazing and shit. It was okay. It was decent. It was genuinely a good movie. I give it an 8 out of 10. It wasn't amazing. It's not going to knock your socks off. The rewatchability of it, is that even a word? If not, I invented it. The rewatchability of it, I would watch this movie like every Halloween, maybe start a new tradition of watching it every Halloween, because it is definitely a good Halloween movie. I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it. The only reason I would go out of my way to watch it is, like, my little brother's a big conspiracy theorist. So let's say he came over to visit me and hang out with me, and he was like, hey, I'm going to hang out tonight with you. Let's crack open a couple beers or smoke some weed or whatever, and let's watch a movie together. I would say, oh, let's put on this movie, Late Night with the Devil. Late Night with the Devil. I don't know why I keep calling it Interview with the Devil, but it's Late Night with the Devil. But I would definitely put this movie on and be like, have you seen this? If you haven't, let's watch it. You love conspiracy theories. Let's watch it together and see. That would be the rewatchability of it too, is now that I know what Easter eggs to look for as far as the actual spectral apparition of his wife, I almost want to rewatch it to find the Easter eggs of, I want to spot the wife, you know? That's why it reminded me a lot of Sixth Sense, because Sixth Sense was a movie that you have to watch over and over and over again. And the whole time during Sixth Sense, you're like watching the red. You're looking for red. You know what I mean? So now, knowing that the wife shows up in reflections and shit, it would make me want to look for her in reflective surfaces. Which, by the way, they kept to the occult as far as that. Oh, that's another thing. Let's get into that. They kept to actual occult rules as far as mirrors are portals for ghosts. If you don't know this, now you know. As an occultist and someone who dabbles with black mirrors, scrying mirrors, mirrors in general, they're portals for ghosts. So that's why she was coming through on reflective surfaces. So now you know. Don't get freaked out by your mirror. You ain't got to cover it up. It's all up to you. But they are portals and pathways for ghosts. Another occult / paranormal rule that they stood by was, there's a couple times when they're trying to cast this demon out of the girl who's possessed with the name of Jesus, and it doesn't work. Because it's a Braxis. So it's not a Christian. It's not a fallen angel. It's not a demon. It's like a different type of interdimensional being. And this actually happened in real cases of not possession, but haunted houses. There's a case that's famously known. It's called the Moffat case, the Moffat haunting story. Moffit, if I'm spelling it correctly, Moffat. The whole time there was a jinn. The house, spoiler alert, the house was haunted by a jinn. DJINN. Genie. It's a different type of entity. It's not a demon. So they kept sending in all these Catholic priests to banish the demon in the name of Jesus, and it wasn't working. because jinn don't give a fuck about Jesus. And I've had a lot of arguments with people over the years of telling them that there are exorcists who are non-Catholic, non-Christian exorcists. Like there's Buddhist exorcists, there are Muslim exorcists who specifically cast out jinn. And I try to explain to people, if you don't study Islam and the Quran, you're missing a huge piece of the puzzle as far as the paranormal world. Everyone wants to automatically say everything's a demon. It's not always demons. There is the possibility that there is jinn. So like the Amazing Randy character tries to like cast out this demon in the name of Jesus, and he pulls out a crucifix. I'm pretty sure it was that character. I don't know. Whoever it was trying to do a Christian exorcism on it, and it just wasn't fucking working. It just tore him in half or burnt him alive. Because it wasn't a demon. It was, she was possessed by Abraxas. Whatever that is. Some sort of interdimensional being. I think that's about it though. Go check the movie out if you've watched it. Please comment down below and let me know what you thought of the movie. Did I miss anything in this review? I think this was a decent video, and I hope you all enjoyed, and I love you all, and I hope you all have an awesome day.